Well, today is an absolutely beautiful day here at the lake. It has been quite a while since I've done a video for you, and I've decided to give you a little something different this time. As you can see, the lake is quite low, so we are not able at this point in time to taxi down the ramp and go in the water because the water is too low. However, it is April, and in April my aircraft goes through its annual. So here we are, getting ready for its full inspection. As you can see, I've made a jig for the back for it to sit really solid, and I made a jig for the front. So that it sits really solid, and that way I can retract the gears and check, make sure that's all okay, check the cables and everything else. One of the things that I do is obviously I have my Petrel maintenance manual, lots of things to go through. I have also my own weather station that has the system outside, and it tells me what the weather is like. So let's get into this inspection. I'm not going to go into all the details of everything that gets checked, but I'll give you some basic overview of the Super Petrel. As you can tell, it's a typical Rotex 912 engine. And of course, all the things that get checked, which already have been checked, which of course is the compression, taking out the 4 spark plugs, checking the compression. This is a constant speed prop, making sure that the brushes and everything is good for the constant speed. It also gives me that extra little power that I get with the fine pitch. And then of course, checking everything from hoses to brackets to bolts to nuts. One of the things that happens quite often is these springs here that hold the exhaust in place, they tend to break right at the joint here. So I actually ended up having to replace most of them last year, but they're still good this year. So, and of course, having to check the carburetors, all the flaps and hinges, etc. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of all that has to go on before it goes out for the season this year. As you can see, I have the wheels up right now. It's a really good time to check, to make sure that the cables are adjusted correctly and the linkages correctly, and that the wheels fold into the fuselage properly. And in the front, as you can see, the wheel is up. Because of the type of lake we have and the kind of docks we have, I removed the front wheel flaps because they got in the way when we got close to certain docks. So I removed them, and it actually made it easier to make all the adjustments, and also easier then to dock in some of the docks that we have here. Also, I noticed that there really wasn't much of a difference in speed, and so I've decided to leave them off. Again, retracted wheel, and of course everything gets checked. Now this particular area here, the front of the nose, has of course the water container for the ballast. Basically, you can adjust how much water you put in depending on the weight inside the aircraft. And then there's your rudder pedals, and you can see the brakes. Both sides have the individual brakes, both sides have rudder pedals. And then down here you can see the wheels that are actually for the landing gear and for the rudders. So this is for the nose wheel, and this needs to be adjusted correctly so that when you bring the wheel up, it is all the way in, and also of course when you let it down, it's all the way down. So a lot of adjustment happens there. And there's your brake cylinder looking into the cabin of the aircraft. For the annual inspection, of course, almost everything has to come out so that we can check everything. Again, you can see inside the cabin, there's your brakes and rudder pedals, and the seats come out, and that gives you then the access to the gear adjustments, the different places, and then also you could see the controls running to the back to the elevator and the ailerons. And one of the things that this aircraft has, it has a warning system for my wheels. In other words, if the wheels are not in the right place, then on the dash here, I have indicator lights. So they basically tell you whether you're in the right place for land or for water. I also have a voiceover that will also remind me, depending on the gear. So that gives you a little idea what it looks like when it's all apart. And there's your fuel lines and your fuel pump. That's a pre-pump, a prime pump. And this, of course, is the 5-gallon container that's inside the fuselage, and then of course the other 10 gallons per wing are of course right by the wing clip. So it has 25 gallons altogether that can be used. You can see the items that had to be taken off, the cowling. And then I'll just take you over to the engine and I'll show you some details there. You will notice that if you take a real close look, I'll show you, I have a little bit of an oil leak on this particular valve cover right here. You can see there's a drop right there. So it probably leaks about 1 or 2 drops in about 2 to 3 hours of flying. There's another one right here. So I will take this valve cover off and reseal it. Other than that, all the coolant lines, all the oil lines, everything is good. There's no sign of any leakage. The fuel hoses, all that has been completely redone about 60 hours ago. Carburetors have been redone about 60 hours ago. So overall, this engine is in really, really good shape. Now here you can see the oil container and the coolant container, which sits underneath the top cowling. And then of course the oil lines that go to the engine. And you can see the 2 carburetors. So this all is looking really good. I have one little issue which is going to need to be fixed, is that this little bracket here has a little bit of a crack that's holding the oil container on. So that's going to get repaired, welded up and cleaned up nicely before the next flight. So that's basically all I'm going to show you as to what is happening. Once that is all finished, I will join that with another video together with some other flights I do. Usually after I do my annual, I do a whole bunch of testing, and also I do a whole bunch of recurrency training. So you'll see that all on this one video.
look so tiny. They look so tiny. See, now he's going to retract the wings.